One man is running about 450 miles for a cause he and his sister are passionate about.
Noah and Molly Fredenberg are trying to help show kids in foster care that they matter. This 450-mile run is just a part of a bigger goal.
The plan is for Noah and his sister to run from LA to New York in the spring.
I'm the runner, and that's what I've been doing. Most of my day is taken up with running, so it's like 12 hours or something like that I think is normally spent running. Outside of that, I sleep and I eat. That's what this trip has been like. So I'm gonna go in that direction for all day. That's what I'm gonna do. It's gonna take me all day. Okay. See you, Molly.
So long, brother. I'm the one that's reaching out to people for sponsorships. I'm reaching out, networking, trying to find connections to bring as much awareness as we can to this project. We really want the focus of this to be bringing confidence and encouraging kids who feel like they are not seen or heard. So I'm kind of the behind the scenes, and Noah's the one that's running, and then we're teaming up together when he's not. There's been some points where I was nervous that he was going to push too hard and really mess up his Achilles, but you know, he's pretty tough, that kid. This was in the newspaper article that he will crawl if he has to the end of the trip. It's a blast.
Woo!
No, I've enjoyed it. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah. Oh, yours doesn't either.
No, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. It's nice to have a sibling as your partner because you can have your disagreements, but it's a pretty fast fix.
Yeah.
All right, day one. 41 miles.
Wyoming proud. Sure, you can't see it. Whatever.
Wyoming proud. It's snowing quite a bit, so that's exciting. And it's about 30 degrees outside, so Noah's got his work cut out for him.
It snowed for about 2 days. It snowed enough that the interstate was shut down. So logistically, we had some issues meeting up together. So the first day was just kind of traipsing through slush and snow. The second day was essentially the same thing, but with a little bit just more wind and mud. There's a lot of mud the first 5 days. Day 3 is when I hurt myself. So I took a day. On the third day, I took half day to recover. On the fourth day, I took a full day off. I didn't run at all. I just laid on my bed and elevated my Achilles and iced it. The day came to go to the cathedral home, which was day 12. And I did a really short half day. I did 20 miles. And then we went in and did our event at the cathedral home, and it was really, really great. Me and Molly were really happy with how it went.
So we wanted this whole run with Wyoming to focus and bring it back to giving a voice to the kids who may not feel like they are seen or heard or important or valued. So we wanted to find a way to involve them in the run. So we've been interviewing graduated youth, as well as when we did this event at Cathedral Home, we did a run with the kids. We were able to do a survey with them and find out a little bit better of what their needs are, and hopefully be able to represent them in the way that they want to be.
And they just responded really well. We didn't know what to expect.
All right. Okay.
I originally did not mean to choose this career. My sister was working at a group home for kids and told me that they had an availability and it worked with my school schedule. And that's how I started working there. I worked overnights for a really long time and then really kind of became invested in what was going on and being invested in helping kids. And from there, it's been 6 years and I've gotten to really come to a place where I really love working with kids and watching them grow and succeed. So
just being able to see the rewards and the value in what you're doing for people.
I've seen the difference that I could make in kids' lives, and that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years.
And be independent and on their own and work through all of the crazy things that they've been through.
I was in treatment for about a year or so before they found me a foster home to be in, and so then I was in foster care. Bumped around quite a bit, but I eventually ended up settling nicely into the family that I have now. They're still my family, like, it's just how cool they are.
And I was always just kind of getting into fights in school, getting into fights just anywhere. I could walk into a gas station and someone would look at me weird and I'd start hitting them.
I look up to, I would have to say, my grandparents. We went through some hard times when I was younger just because I wasn't the best, but they just kind of were able to push through and get me to where I needed to be.
I went into my room and I just kind of didn't want to get out of bed. I was ready to give up at that point. I was honestly ready to die.
I mean, in order to be helpful, it doesn't always mean that you have to work at a facility. You don't always have to be the front lines. You don't always have to, donate a bunch of money. You can donate your clothes or you can donate your time or put on events or just anything to reach out and show that you know that they're there and you don't know what they're going through, but you know that they need help.
And then he sat there and he just he hugged the crap out of me while I sat there crying. And he said, I'm not going to let you give up right now.
Keeping an open mind to the things that people have been through and their experiences, and not passing judgments, first and foremost. And then I think, in our community specifically, having more opportunities for youth.
I would say that a common misconception of at-risk youth would be that they are all bad kids.
But they don't understand the lives these kids have come from.
There's no such thing as a bad kid.
Put your feet in their shoes.
I don't tell people immediately I was a foster kid or I am a foster kid because they start immediately thinking, what did you do wrong? I wish that there was more instances of people who just understood that, foster care can come from an issue with the parents. It can come from an issue of many other different things than just the kid was being a defiant kid and now it's, their issue. It's not necessarily the case.
Ask what is going on, and if they don't answer, then just sit with them. Sometimes you won't ever know the problem. You won't ever get to know, even if it's 20 years later. But sometimes if you just sit down next to the person and have a simple conversation about how their day is going, try and make them laugh. Try and have that person open up to you. Don't always try and push everything else on the person. Let the person come to you. Let them know that you're there.
I was lucky to get out of there at all. You would not understand it. I do not recommend it. But I had to
It's
make
done.
sure I didn't leave there empty-handed.
Take a picture of the sign if I can get it.
'Cause I'm a working man, making money and sending it all back home.
She actually left on the 23rd, the day that I finished, but she left in the morning. So I Skyped her and we got to be at the finish together because it was 100% a team effort. I obviously was doing all the running, but she was doing everything else beside that. Literally everything else. I was just running and then finishing, and she was feeding me and all that jazz. She did my laundry. So it was important that she be there at the end. I wish that she could have been there in person. I think that would have been a lot sweeter, but I was really happy to be able to, connect with her via technology as I hit the finish.
I truly hope that somebody will watch this eventually and see that life isn't always a downy, gray, ugly place. All you have to do is get up. You can have a hand offered to you, but you still have to take it, and you still have to help push yourself up. And sometimes there aren't just going to be any hands, so you have to grab onto that rail and get up yourself. And that's what I had to do.
Every day I'm absolutely impacted, whether it be by their stories and the things they've been through, or the progression and relationships that we're developing. Anything for me is impacting at this point.
I guess if I could like tell somebody else that's like in a similar situation, is I would just be like, you can get through it. Just be strong and get through it. You're gonna be fine. Just like push through it, because you're gonna be okay at the end of the day.
We also got to ask them to define themselves. So again, I think it's really important that everybody gets the opportunity and takes that and owns it, that we get to define ourselves and we get to choose who we are. Nobody else's definitions or views of us are what matters. So I wanted them to choose a word truly on what they believe to be true about themselves, not what they've been told, not what they've heard, but who do you think you are?
It's a longer quote, but it's kind of along that lines of where, in the end, everything will be okay. And if it's not okay, then it's not the end.
And the way we talk on Susquehanna feels like home.